Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Giri Varadari Gopi Janavalabha Giri Varadari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Jaya Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtodhara Shata Shri Srimad Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtodhara Shata Shri Srimad Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sixth Canto, Prescribed Duties for Mankind, Chapter 16. King Chitraketu meets the Supreme Lord, text 58. So if everybody could please repeat after me. Labdveha Manushim Yonim Jnana Vijnana Sambhavam Atmanam Yo Na Buddhyeta Na Kvachit Chemam Apnuyat Labdveha Manushim Yonim Jnana Vijnana Sambhavam Atmanam Yona Buddhyeta Na Kvachit Chemam Apnuyat Labdveha Manushim Yonim Jnana Vijnana Sambhavam Atmanam Yona Buddhyeta Na Kvachit Chemam Apnuyat Labdveha Manushim Yonim Jnana Vijnana Sambhavam Atmanam Yona Buddhyeta Na Kvachit Chemam Apnuyat. Okay, please chant.
Labdveha Manushim Yonim.
Coming from the Zoom world.
Jnana Sambhavam Atmanam Yona Buddhyeta Na Kvachit Chemam Apnuyat.
All right, word by word. Labdva, achieving. Iha, in this material world. Especially in this pious land of Bharatvarsha. India. Manushim, the human. Yonim, species. Jnana, of knowledge through Vedic scriptures. Vijnana, and practical application of that knowledge in life. Sambhavam, wherein there is a possibility. Atmanam, one's real identity. Yaha, anyone who, anyone who, na, not, buddhyeta, understands, na, never, kvachit, at any time, jaimam, success in life, apnuyat, can obtain. Translation and commentary by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. A human being can attain perfection in life by self-realization through the Vedic literature and its practical application. This is possible especially for a human being born in India, the land of piety. A man who obtains birth in such a convenient position but does not understand his self is unable to achieve the highest perfection, even if he is exalted to life in the higher planetary systems. Purport. This statement is confirmed in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 941. Lord Chaitanya said, Bharata Bhumita Hoila Manusha Janma Jar Janma Sar Takakari Kara Para Upakar. Everyone born in India, especially as a human being, can achieve the supreme success through the Vedic literature and its practical application in life. When one is perfect, he can render a service for the self-realization of the entire human society. This is the best way to perform humanitarian work. All right, so we'll read a few more verses. So this is 59. Remembering the great trouble found in the field of activities performed for fruit of results, and remembering how one receives the reverse of the results of one desires, whether from material actions or from the fruit of activities recommended in the Vedic literatures, an intelligent man should cease from the desire for fruit of actions. For by such endeavors, one cannot achieve the ultimate goal of life. On the other hand, if one acts without desires for fruit of results, in other words, if one engages in devotional activities, he can achieve the highest goal of life with freedom from miserable conditions. Considering this, one should cease from material desires. 60. As husband and wife, a man and woman plan together to attain happiness and decrease unhappiness. Working jointly in many ways. But because their activities are full of desires, these activities are never a source of happiness, and they never diminish distress. On the contrary, they are a cause of great unhappiness. One should understand that the activities of persons who are proud of their material experience bring only results contradictory to those such persons conceive while awake, sleeping, and deeply sleeping. One should further understand that the spirit soul, although very difficult for the materialist to perceive, is above all these conditions. And by the strength of one's discrimination, one should give up the desire for fruit of results in the present life and in the next. Thus, becoming experienced in transcendental knowledge, one should become my devotee. Okay, a few more. Persons who try to reach the ultimate goal of life must expertly observe the Supreme Absolute Person and the living entity, who are one in quality in their relationship as part and whole. This is the ultimate understanding of life. There is no better truth than this. O King, if you accept this conclusion of mine, being unattached to material enjoyment, adhering to me with great faith, and thus becoming proficient and fully aware of knowledge and its practical application in life, you will achieve the highest perfection by attaining me. Shukadev Goswami continued, after thus instructing Chitraketu and assuring him of perfection in this way, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Supreme Spiritual Master, the Supreme Soul, Sankarshan, disappeared from that place as Chitraketu looked on. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the sixth chapter, 16, sixth canto, 16th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled King Chitraketu Meets the Supreme Lord. So Bhajanarayan Swami, he's going to speak on not the Bhagavatam, but another topic tomorrow. And then Monday, we'll start this chapter 17. So just see. Om Gyanatibadandasya Kananjana Shalakaya Chakshulan Militamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karadivachalam Pangam Langa Etegrim Yakubatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinitaranam Vancha Kapadu Bishcha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we're very happy that you are all visiting San Diego. Hope you have been having a successful trip so far. Is it? This is like the end, towards the end of the trip. Okay, so last 2 weeks. All right. Yeah, I wanted to ask you, how long have you been doing this, by the way? 27 years. All right. And your wife, she's not here. She's in the kitchen. Okay. She's also been doing for 27 years. So that's, it's a very good example that steady service. So we want to, not so easy to do that service for so many years. So yeah, very selfless of you to do that. And Sri Murti, he looks like he's somewhere too. No, that's okay. But so Sri Murti, he called me yesterday, and he was asking if he could dress Radha Giridhari. So I said yes, of course. He's visited here before, so he dressed Radha Giridhari today. And his idea was to offer a flower outfit. So if you see there's a very beautiful flower outfit. He was telling me that before he came here, that all of you were in Las Vegas, and he went to a store. Maybe some of you heard this, but he went to a store to pick up flowers for this particular outfit. And somehow or other, when he was talking with the person there, the lady who was working there, she wanted to see a picture of what he's trying to do. So he showed her a picture of deities with a flower outfit on. I'm not sure which deities they were, but he showed her a picture. And she says, "Oh, you're dressing Krishna in a flower outfit." Well, some middle of Las Vegas, some grocery store. American lady, and then he said, "Yes, I am." And then he was asking, "How do you know about that?" And apparently she was going to the Denver temple, so at one point in the past. So yeah, he dressed the deities, but there was a whole team of devotees helping to make the outfit. I think they started in Las Vegas, and then they completed here this morning. So I don't mean to embarrass anybody, but who is that team? Part of that team? Can you raise your hands? Huh? Oh, okay, so you're the one. Okay, the other two in the kitchen. So yeah, it's a wonderful service that you did. So I'd like to offer you also. Hari Hari Bo. Sadhu, sadhu. Very good, very good. Yeah, and it happens to be one of the reasons why Sri Murti Prabhu wanted to address the deities in the flower outfit. It's the 50th anniversary of Sri Sri Radhagiri Dari. It seems to be many 50th anniversaries of deities around America, but 50th anniversary year, yes. Not exactly day, but year. So big yearly celebration. So in this particular verse and purport, it's talking about the perfection of human life. So according to a person's particular state of mind or consciousness, they have a particular perception of what the goal of life is. So for some people, the goal of life is to sit on a couch and do nothing and eat potato chips and whatever. Go on a, what do they call that? A continual Netflix binge. That's their goal in life. And if they could achieve that, they consider that the perfection. I've reached the perfection of human life. Of course, for some people, they think, oh, that's a waste of time, or that's definitely not the perfection, whatever, according to their consciousness. And as mentioned by devotees many times in talks, they give the example of a forest. So if you're walking in a forest, or if a person's walking in a forest, depending on their particular state of consciousness, they see it differently. Some people think, great, a wonderful place, I'll cut all the trees down and I'll build factories and make a lot of money. Some people think, oh, what a wonderful place to sleep, right? Certain state of mind, great, this is a perfect place to sleep, quiet. You don't have to play, sometimes people play stuff while they're sleeping, ocean, or wind or whatever. They're, some type of nice sounds, right? You don't have to play any of that. You're just laying there in the forest, right? So people think, wonderful. Or some people think, oh, great place to meditate. Quiet. Great place to chant Hare Krishna. So it depends on the particular consciousness one has. They'll see things differently. So the Vedic literature outlines different goals that humans generally have, right? Dharma, artha, kama, moksha, or religiosity, economic development, kama, sense gratification, or fulfilling the desires of one's senses, and moksha, liberation. So the Gaudiya Vaishnav tradition, or specifically Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he outlines a fifth goal of human life. And what is that? Prema, right? Prema, Pumarto Mahan, right? The greatest, the fifth goal. So that's the goal for the Vaishnavas. Or Vaishnavis. In this particular prema, or this particular love, it's not the love of this world, or the so-called love of this world, but it is transcendental. It is above anything of this world. And this particular the love for Krishna is within the hearts of everyone. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Saddhikabanoy Shravanara Shuddha Chitta Koriyadoy, that this particular love is within the hearts of everyone, and it is awakened by hearing and chanting about Krishna. That's how it's awakened. And as Srila Prabhupada would say, hearing and chanting about Krishna, not some politician. Or we could say whatever, because there's many things to hear and chant about. So if we hear and chant about the millions of other things, then we will develop, you could say, love for those things. And if we hear and chant about Krishna, then that the love for Krishna awakens. Recently, I was visiting the Bay Area. Anyone from there? Anyone from the Bay Area? No? All right, good. Because I'm going to criticize it right now. I'm just joking. No, I was visiting the Bay Area. I was born there. Not that is of any universal importance, but anyways, in Hayward, California, but Bay Area. But anyways, I was visiting there, and I was visiting different groups of devotees, because there's different groups of devotees up there. Quite a dynamic place to visit. And I was visiting one devotee who's originally from Russia, him and his family, his wife and his daughter. And the whole time, practically, the daughter was watching Krishna, the cartoon, in Russian. It's an interesting experience. I was seeing Krishna speak in Russian. But so while I was there, this particular devotee, he showed me, he had this instrument hanging on his wall. So I asked him, I'd like to see that. It's a very simple instrument. It's made out of gourd and then a string and like a stick. It's a very simple instrument. So anyways, he was showing me how to play it. And if you go to, or when you go to, a lot of the times when you go to Vrindavan, outside of the Krishna Balarama Mandir, you'll see a person sitting there playing that instrument, chanting. It's a very simple instrument, one-person band type of thing. So he was singing, and it made me, and I was thinking while he was singing, and now that of this particular principle, they call it the gourd principle. Has anybody heard about that? Anybody in your philosophy class? Gourd principle? Huh? All right, I think he maybe heard about it.
So someone's walking down a trail, he sees a gourd, he picks up the gourd, and then there's a little farther on, there's some strings, picks up the strings gradually, and then he says, puts it all together, makes an instrument. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is actually not like it's, by the way, just, so it's not a real, they don't teach you that in philosophy class. Anyways, I made up the principle, gourd principle. So, but as Javita Prabhu was saying, that if you're walking down a road and you see a gourd, so you pick that up, you're walking further, there's a string, walking further, there's a stick, and then you can make a beautiful instrument. So in other words, these things separate what can you produce, or what type of music can you produce with a string and a stick and I guess maybe something, but if you put them all together, then it produces beautiful music. So similarly, in some of these verses, it's mentioning husband and wife, or as within Krishna consciousness, they call it the grihastha ashram. So the ashram in which husband and wife live with, family and so on. So, and it's being mentioned here that the wife and husband, or man and woman, they get together to attain happiness and to decrease unhappiness, working jointly in many ways. But because they have the wrong conception, all they attain is actually unhappiness. It's interesting. Because of because they have the wrong conception. So the idea is that within Krishna consciousness, we've seen historically that the Grihastha ashram is the most popular ashram, right? It's more popular than the brahmachari ashram, or more populated than the brahmachari ashram or the sannyas ashram. Of course, vanaprastha ashram's there too, but grihastha ashram has the most members in it. So for those who are in it, or for those who will enter into it, which is probably most people, it's good to note that without Krishna in the center, it just doesn't work. It's never going to work. And this is what this particular verse is pointing out. Now that's marriage, but also with friendship, with any relationship actually. The Gord principle is there that we may not be able to do a lot by ourselves, or we may not be able to make a lot of progress in our lives alone. So therefore the idea is if we work together, then we can make progress. And specifically, we can make progress towards this ultimate goal of life, Krishna Prem, or love for Krishna. And as Srila Prabhupada would sometimes cite, or sometimes repeat, united we stand, divided we fall. So, and he would quote quite a lot in his books. This particular, it's from a song of Narottam Das Thakur. Tandera charana seve bhakti sanavas janme janme ho e abhilash. That one should stick with devotees in the association of devotees, very close association. And all success is assured for those who do that. And within Krishna consciousness, it's very important that people, that devotees, realize their particular self and realize their mission. There should be a sense of self and a sense of mission in Krishna consciousness. Just like some devotees, their mission is to, of course we need more of those, but their mission is to establish farm communities and express their love for Krishna in that particular way. Some devotees, they dedicate themselves to chanting the holy names, kirtan. Some devotees dedicate themselves to studying and teaching, deity worship. So there's many things, making garlands, so many things one could do in Krishna consciousness. So to find one's particular mission is very important. Or as one particular devotee, he said, be yourself and make your own contribution. Now, of course, this particular idea of being yourself, because a lot of the times people like to be themselves in a mundane sense, in the modes of material nature. But be yourself in Krishna consciousness and make your own make your own contribution in Krishna consciousness. So that finding our mission, or you could say finding our calling in Krishna consciousness and making our contribution, that could be a mission in itself. Of course, we shouldn't take too long, in my humble opinion. But it's important to do that. And if we ask Krishna for help, he will help us. Krishna will guide us in a particular way in that regard. All right, so I'll stop there. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Okay, okay, you could pass the mic to her.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
for class.
Thank you.
at one point, my perfection of a morning was the fact that I got to sleep in an extra 3 to 4 hours, and I wasn't in anxiety about the other things I had to do in the day. And now, my good morning is I finish my rounds before lunch.
Nice.
Perfect days, I finish it before Guru Puja. And I was thinking about the verse. It was talking about people like born in India, and I was thinking a lot of us on the tour are born in devotee families, and each temple is a holy place itself.
Yes.
So like the same kind of advantage in India, we have ourselves in our different temples. So it also like expands to us. Like we have these great opportunities, we should take it and not just waste what we were given. So
Yes, that's true. Thank you. Yeah, if one has an opportunity, just like, for example, if there's actually some stories, there's one story of a guy and he won the lottery, which people dream about sometimes, right? I guess. I never dreamt of it, but anyways, he won the lottery. It was a lot of money. I mean, that, like, I don't know what it's up to now. Does anybody know? $1 billion? Okay. There's actually some, just on a side note, side life, what is it? There's the devotees who used to serve in Las Vegas, Krishna Mai and Surapal. So they're the couple there. They're running the Las Vegas project. So one time they were having really hard time financially, and the temple's about to close. So they're walking down the street, and they're thinking, "Oh, what are we going to do? We might have to just pack up and move out." And it was just like, it's very depressing. And right, Las Vegas really needs help, right? That place needs some help. So then they're walking down the street, and then somebody stopped them and said, these people, come in the casino. And they kind of like practically forced them in the casino. And pulled the lever, some contest happening. So they actually did it. And they won. I think it was like $20,000, something like that. And they got to pay all their bills, keep the temple open. Anyways, it's interesting. Of course, we don't gamble, but yeah, that's true. They just feel like, anyways, we don't want to get it. So there was a case of a person who won the lottery, and you could imagine, okay, great, won the lottery, right? Now I don't have to work anymore. I'll, do so many things. So then what happened is the person dropped it in the parking lot, just like just dropped it. And then later on he realized, oh my God, I dropped it in the parking lot. That's his ticket. That's how, that's the winning ticket. So luckily or unluckily, he went back and it was there. It was still there. So anyways. So yeah, the idea is that similarly, to be in the association of devotees, or to take birth in a devotee family, or just have the opportunity, is like that. Having the lottery, ticket. So the idea is we should, turn it in, or take advantage of that. Or else it's just a waste. It's very unfortunate, actually. Yeah, so thank you. And yeah, but all of these places, like you said, a very good point. They're all holy places. And Sri Brihad Bhagavatam Rita by Sanatana Goswami, very interesting book, but there's a particular point where Krishna's in Dwarka, and in Dwarka, he's missing the residents of Vrindavan, right, to say the least. And what happens is they actually create a replica of Vrindavan called Nava Vrindavan. New Vrindavan. And Mother Yashoda's there, the cowherd boys, the cowherd girls, Govardhan, Yamuna, and the cows. They're all there. This is replica made by, what's his name? Vishwakarma. So there's a whole replica there. And Krishna's in this maddened state of ecstasy, feeling separation from the devotees of Vrindavan. And he's speaking to Mother Yashoda, the replica, and he's just... So that's there. Now, Srila Prabhupada, he named many of his temples. For example, in Berkeley, there is New Jagannath Puri. In LA, New Dwarka, New Raman Reti, New Vrindavan, New Govardhan here, New Panihati, which devotees will go to tomorrow. So Srila Prabhupada named these particular places, and the idea is that these places are, you could say, embassies of the original place, or the replicas are supposed to be replicas of the new place. And some devotees have really went far with this, like His Holiness Shivaram Swami and New Vrajadam in Hungary. They've created different holy places on the property. And also you have His Holiness Radhanath Swami with Eco Village, a similar thing. So we may not have the property to do all that, but the idea is that the temples are replicas of those places, and devotees should learn how to, you could say, be in the mood of those who live in those places. Because what makes a holy place a holy place? Any ideas? Could ask the younger devotees, any ideas? What makes a holy place a holy place? What is it? Yes, one, devotees. Okay. Any other ideas? What makes a holy place a holy place? Deities, Krishna. Yeah, Krishna, devotees.
And?
Yes.
And the sadhus.
A sadhu.
What devotees?
Devotees are sadhus.
Yeah.
The activities that the devotees perform
Activities.
there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. So holy place means Krishna's there, right? The devotees are there. And the activities of devotional service are going on there. That's what makes a holy place a holy place. And specifically, the sadhus, or the saintly persons, that's what really makes a holy place a holy place. Because without them, going to a holy place is actually, the Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna says, what does he say? You want to say in the mic? To the sages at Kurukshetra, those who go to a holy place simply to...
Yasyatma buddhi, that verse?
Yes.
Yasyatma buddhi kunapeti datrage swadi karatta dishabhome jadi yat tirtha buddhi salile nakarachit janesha bhigyeshu saeva gokaraha. So he has a list there. And what's interesting about this verse, I remember when I was working on the Bhagavatam back in the 80s, and we came to this verse, and Krishna is taking the role there of kind of an attached householder. He's not speaking, because all the sages come, and Vasudev, instead of, he says, oh, please instruct me so I can achieve the ultimate goal of life. I say, are you kidding? Your son is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, don't you know? But Krishna gets into that, so he takes that role, and he gives this yasyatma buddhi. So there's a list. Those who take this bag of blood, three dhatus, as the self, and those who think that their wife and children and everything are theirs, swadi kalatashu bon, and that the land they've been born in is worshipable, nationalism. And those who go to a holy place and simply take a bath, but don't listen to the sages and the devotees who live there, don't hear, then they're on the level of cows and donkeys. That's his verdict.
So to go to a holy place, the sadhus are very important element in the holy places. And even in scriptures, they have this idea that Ganga, right, Devi, she didn't want to come to this world because she think, all these people, all these sinful people, they just come and, because you bathe in the Ganga and it's like you deposit your sins there. It's washing off your contamination. So there's mention in the scriptures that the saintly persons, they go there and Ganga's very happy. Okay, I'm not just dealing with saintly persons, I'm dealing with devotees. I mean, sinful people, I'm dealing with devotees. And they purify the holy places even. So for those of us who live at a temple or near a temple, it's our responsibility to, you could say, keep the holy place a holy place. But yeah, it's a good point that there's so many dhams, New Govardhan Dham, this dham, that dham, so many dhams, so many holy places. Srila Prabhupada created so many holy places by his powerful influence. So, thank you. Does anybody have any other? Yes.
Hare Krishna. I was just going to ask, what advice would you have for someone looking for their mission in Krishna consciousness?
Wow, that's a big question.
Oh, is that too much?
No, it's not too much. Well, I mean, for example, like Prabhupada would say, we should try to engage our natural inclinations, right, in Krishna consciousness. So someone will say, like, all right, well, how am I supposed to know what I'm supposed to be doing in Krishna consciousness, right? They may ask that question. We can say it's good. They should ask that question. What should I be doing? What's my mission? Or how should I engage my inclinations? So, one thing Srila Prabhupada said was that in terms of finding out, you could say, what you should be doing in Krishna consciousness, one indication is that, one, you like doing that activity, and two, others say you're good at it. It's a very important aspect also, because, for example, someone would say, I like cooking, right? And other devotees are like, oh God, he's cooking again, oh no, I mean, he's a good devotee and, very surrendered, but just not his cooking, no. So, but and also, by the way, just because someone may not, be expert cook or expert this, and that, so many of Lord Chaitanya's devotees, from a particular standpoint, were not expert. In the sense, like, for example, Kolavetra Sridhar, his expertise was that he would sell banana leaves to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and they would have these, and then he would be chanting Hare Krishna. The devotees didn't even know who he was. Because Lord Chaitanya, he said, go get Kolavetra Sridhar. And the devotee said, who's Kolavetra Sridhar? They didn't know who he was. But then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you go out there and you'll hear him chanting loud. So anyways, but going back is that, one, that you like to do it, and two, that you're good at it. It's indication of what you should be doing. You like it and you're good at it. Or other people say you're good at it. So that's an indication. And from there, because we should try to search, for that particular activity, whatever it is in Krishna consciousness. Because we have to engage ourselves after all, right? We have to engage our senses. But of course, for everyone, there is the practice of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, which is the most important practice for us. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he would say that because one thing is that we're trying to, you could say, realize ourself. But to realize ourselves means we have to get through all the different layers of our non-self before we, reach our self. In other words, we have to clear all that away. So one of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's favorite verses was what is it? Engaging the tongue and chanting Hare Krishna. Yeah, Tashi Krishna Nama Adi Nabhaved Gram Indriya Sevan Mukhe Jivada Swayameva Spratida. So this verse is saying that by engaging the tongue and chanting Hare Krishna and other glorifying devotees, because, we could use our speech for in so many different ways. One is just to vilify or blaspheme devotees. It's very detrimental, and it does catch up eventually. Like some people, they think they could just really say whatever they want about devotees. Like devotees think that, and they don't think it'll catch up. And it's interesting because it doesn't look like there's any reactions. It's like, hey, well, I shot this person down metaphysically. This person. And hey, I seem to be doing all right. But it's interesting. It's like eventually the bowling ball's going to come, flying from the sky. It actually happened one time on a weird note. Here in San Diego, there was one guy, he was walking, and all of a sudden a lime green bowling ball comes flying from out of the air and hits him right in the chest. It actually happened. And what happened was there was a guy there flying to some destination for a bowling tournament, and the plane was going down, so they had to get rid of the stuff. So it threw a bowling ball. Now I heard this, and sometimes you hear maybe it's made up or whatever. But then my grandfather, he grew up here, so I asked, "Hey, have you ever heard about that?" He said, "You know what? I did hear about that. It actually happened." So the bowling ball eventually comes, or you could say the wrecking ball through the window. But positively, the speech should be engaged, chanting Hare Krishna, glorifying Krishna and the devotees, and not for other purposes. And in taking prasadam, means food offered with love and devotion to Krishna. So in these particular processes, what happens when one engages in these? It says that, the verse says that one's blunt senses are purified, and Krishna, he reveals himself to that devotee. Just by these two simple things. So you could say in an individual sense, yes, we have our inclinations. We should try to find what we could do for Krishna, for the devotees, try to engage ourselves positively. It is a movement. It's called Hare Krishna movement for a reason. There's a movement going on. So try to engage in that. And you could say in a more in a different sense, the whole, you could say, journey of purifying our consciousness and awakening our Krishna consciousness there too. So that should keep us pretty busy. But the main thing is just to search. Like sometimes when people are born in the movement, I joined the Hare Krishna movement when I was 18 years old. I'm only 21 now. I'm just joking. I'm a little older than that. I'm 35 now. But I joined the Hare Krishna movement when I was 18 here in San Diego. And it was a whole search, which I won't get into all the details, but it was a whole search, coming to the temple and eventually signing up, right? And spending all the time I've spent here, almost, rounding up a little bit, but nearing 20 years of my life, half of my life. So, but sometimes when devotees are born in the movement, I've spoken with a number of them over the years, and they have expressed this idea of, you could say, going on their own search, their own spiritual search in Krishna consciousness, and you could say, kind of joining, like, or rejoining the Hare Krishna movement. They felt like maybe there's a distance at some point. So yeah, that it's important for it to go on that search, and not just think, okay, well, this is just something my parents do, and this is just something I was born into, and yeah, there's so many ways to see it in a negative sense. So to go on that search, what would you say? Because you must have some ideas, because you asked the question, right?
Oh, what about how to find one's mission? I mean, I don't have any ideas about being born into the movement because I wasn't that fortunate this time around. So, but no, I liked what you had said. I'd heard that before about what other people say that you're good at, and then also maybe like, I mean, I feel like Guru Maharaj, like if you have a guru, like maybe they can get involved. Or
oh yeah, very good. Thank you for mentioning that, because that's the most important, actually. That eventually one should accept a spiritual teacher. One should accept a guru for many reasons. But yeah, that's our system, actually. You know, we that's Krishna's system. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevya ubadakshanti te ganam ganinas tadvid arshanaha. That Arjuna went to Krishna, right? Or Krishna was telling Arjuna that you should approach a teacher. You know, they've seen the truth, and they could 434, right? So that's very, very important. And also not just a Diksha guru, but Shiksha gurus. Very important, or mentors. Sometimes the tough thing is, I was telling devotees, I said, what happens if your mentor becomes mental? Mental means, you know, kind of on the mental platform, right? Because then they can't guide you. But if we have good mentors, good Shiksha gurus, then our path is clear, actually. Like Srila Prabhupada wrote one of his disciples one time. They were expressing their obstacles in their spiritual life. And Srila Prabhupada said, he said, the path is clear, provided you follow my instructions. And he said, with one kick of my boot, I could remove all the obstacles. Interesting, Prabhupada used that language, you know, because Prabhupada doesn't wear boots, but anyways, you get the idea. But he could remove all obstacles. So that's the benefit of the Shiksha gurus, is that they could help us. Why? Because they're generally they're more experienced than us, and they have gone through certain things that we may be going through, and they could help us in that way. And many famous, well-known, well-respected leaders within the Hare Krishna movement they follow this principle, that before I go this way or that way or this way in my life, let me check with some Shiksha gurus. And if they think it's good, then I'll move forward. Otherwise, maybe there's some, maybe I'm not going down the right. So yeah, it's very important also. Thank you.
Thank you. That was an excellent answer. Thank you very much.
All right. So any other question or comment? Okay, Govardhan.
Thank you, Balaram Prabhu. You mentioned Sin City, Las Vegas.
Yes.
Duja Mani and we had the opportunity to distribute books there.
You should go there more often. They need a lot more books.
And I've been meeting a few people from Las Vegas on Sankirtan, and they're coming from Las Vegas. And I just remember the difficulty it is to distribute books there. It's hot, first of all. We were distributing at the mall, and we were escorted out. So we went to another place that you can't distribute here. So we took this elevator, we crossed this bridge, and then we were distributing books in front of the mall. And then they also called, so we couldn't be there. And so we were just distributing books in this little bridge, And it was really tough. Like, people did not care, And I was just mentioning this because it's very rare to find people that are interested in, spirituality and spiritual life, and even to understand the mission of human life.
Yeah, that's true. How hot was it while you were there just now? 111. Oh, that's hot. That's... Oh, wow. Oh, really? Yeah, it's so hot. But going there in a particular time of the year, when not summer, it's okay weather, and I was thinking about going there more often and distributing books and doing Harinam. It's a very intense place, but we have a temple there now, so. The materialists, they go to such places. That's like their, the devotees, they save up and they go to India, the Dham, right? So, these guys, they save up and they go there, so. Yes, Tyler?
Thank you for closing down the chapter, Balaram. That was really nice. I have there's a lengthier question. There was a theme through 4 of the purports that I thought we could talk about, but everyone had such nice questions that I just had 2 quick reflections. And first was in response to what Jala Madati shared. I think universally it's understood that you have a beautiful kirtan voice, so take that to heart. That it's something very good at. Also, too, for the lime green bowling ball, and it was a direct hit, do you think he could have scored that as a strike, or do you think that would have been a spare?
That was your long question, huh? Okay. Well, I'm not so learned in the bowling field, so I couldn't tell you.
I'm asking him. I don't know if that would have been all of him. I was wondering if he went down. If he went down, that would be considered a strike.
He definitely went down.
Okay, it's a strike then.
Strike. Yes. All right, any last thing?
I have a question.
Okay.
May I?
Yes.
Yes, Balaram Prabhu, thank you very much. You're most kind. Dandavat pranams. The translation to text 58, the quote of the translation goes as follows, quote, "A human being can attain perfection in life by self-realization through the Vedic literature and its practical application," unquote. So based on this quote, my burning question is, how much time should we spend with Srila Prabhupada's books on an individual level and on the congregational level, and also on a daily basis?
All right, thank you very much.
And I'm asking like this because this quote is saying that we can attain perfection in life if we associate ourselves with Vedic literature and its practical application.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, it should be a daily affair. Like, there's that verse, right? Nityan Bhagavata Sevaya, that one should daily hear the messages of Krishna. So that's definitely there. Like hearing a Srimad Bhagavatam class at least a day. How many do you hear a day, Vijay, Krishna? On a usual basis?
I have a list of, on a daily basis, 10 Srimad Bhagavatam classes, at least 1 hour each.
Whoa!
And you're 35, and you said you're 35. I am 62. I have no time for rejecting Srimad Bhagavatam.
Nice. That's very good. And so Vijay Krishna Prabhu, what he does is he's in Portugal. There's no temple there, right?
Yes, there's a temple here. And actually, I am the temple president.
Okay. Busy temple president, huh? So he's in Portugal, and what he does is he tunes in. He tunes into San Diego, Denver. He goes all around the world, tuning in on Zoom. That's how he's listening to his 10 Bhagavatam. I believe him because you're a trustworthy person, but aside from that, I was in Denver some years ago. I was giving a class there, and he tuned into the class, so.
And I did ask you a question, and you did give me a wonderful answer. Thank you for that.
Yeah, in Denver. So yeah, on a daily basis. So he's doing 10 classes a day. So we could do one, right? At least. But it's important to, you could say, schedule. Because if we don't schedule things, then it just doesn't happen, practically. Like, for example, you know, when you have to meet with an important person, definitely they schedule it. They say, okay, let's schedule it, you know, because they're busy. You know, they can't just, if you show up at their door or something, they're meeting with somebody else, or they have 5 meetings that day, so they have to meet next day at 2 p.m. and it has to be from 2 to 3 because, you know, they have other engagements. So similarly, we should take our, you could say, meeting with Krishna seriously, in the sense that, you know, we schedule a time. Okay, now I'm going to meet Krishna in the form of chanting japa, for example. So, and then we could actually, you know, tell other people, you know what, I'm sorry, but I'm going to leave now because I have a meeting with someone, you know, and you go meet. So to schedule it, in other words, to use our intelligence to devise a program in our lives on a daily basis in which Krishna is there, practically, within our lives. Just like some devotees, what they do is while they're taking lunch, they listen to the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, or they listen to a lecture. And you'd be, and we I mean, it's surprising how far you could go. I mean, you could listen to the whole Chaitanya Bhagavat, like, many times. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, just when having lunch. I personally do that, and I've made my way through a lot of seminars and this and that. So yeah, to schedule some time. And of course there's reading. Now, of course, reading may be difficult because different reasons. Busy or this or that, or lacking interest, or we find it too difficult to stay awake, or whatever it may be. But drops of water wear away stone, even if we just a little bit, you know, however much. I mean, best good amount, 2 hours, 1 hour a day, but even if it's just a little bit, even a page a day or a verse a day. And surprisingly enough, we can make it through books, actually. Like, I remember what I do regularly is I read something before I go to sleep at night. And of course, you know, I'm about to go to sleep, so it's like, you know, I read, but then sometimes I keep on reading, and because I'll say, okay, just for a few minutes, but then I keep on reading. But anyways, whether it's a few minutes or it adds up, over time, I actually go through books like that, just by a little bit. So drops of water wear away stone. But definitely, I would say, like sometimes some of the brahmacharis here, over the years, they've had a hard time reading. Means, for whatever reasons, lack of interest, falling asleep, whatever. So many reasons. But I just told them, I said, just at least just read it once, you know. From beginning of the Bhagavatam to the end of the Bhagavatam, just at least once, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Prabhupada's books, just do it once, you know, because, I mean, you could do it more than that, of course, but at least once. Why? Because when they become senior devotees, or when they become, you know, advanced in age and, you know, whatever, sometimes you ask people, you know, younger devotees ask, did you read the Bhagavatam? They ask you, how many times have you read the Bhagavatam? And you're like, well, you know. So if you could say, at least I read it once, you know, at least you could say that. Or else it's kind of difficult, you know, to... lastly, just because we'll end with this because it's getting a little late, but upstairs, I've collected a lot of books over the years, so I have this big bookshelf, you know, bunch of books. And, you know, there's many Prabhupada biographies, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya, whatever, all the books. So somebody asked me, how many have you read of these? And I said, man, I haven't read any of them. They're just there for looks. And I was like, no, I'm just joking. But I've read a number of them, and I'm working gradually through them. So yeah, as much as possible. Vijay, Krishna, Prabhu. And you're a good example.
Yes, well, I love to read, and as to be expected, very helpful, outstanding answer to my question, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
All right, thank you, Hare Krishna. All right, thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.